Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Bliss Foster, and today we are covering all of Daniel Roseberry's Schiaparelli. All of it. Despite the fact that OG Elsa is one of the most key figures in the story and the history of fashion, Schiaparelli has struggled to get its footing in the modern world until Daniel Roseberry landed at the house and started directing the helm. Now, under the leadership of Daniel, the House of Schiaparelli has retaken its rightful place as the ruling emperor of camp. Today we'll be running through each of Daniel Roseberry's shows, and through those shows we will learn a lot about the designs that made Schiaparelli such an iconic figure. Yes, the hell we will. We have an enormous amount to cover, and if this is something that you are really passionate about, if you love learning about these things, I would ask that you support on Patreon. The support does mean a ton to me. It's how I'm able to make the channel happen. This is my full-time job, but more importantly, I want to connect you with other people on the internet who really love this stuff. Channel support starts at $3 a month. It goes all the way up to $30 a month. Find other people with whom you can geek out about fashion and learn together with. The Discord server is absolutely wonderful. It's a steamy day in July. I am wearing a wool suit. We will see how long I can keep this up. Let's start. Fall/Winter 2019 Couture. Roseberry's first show at Schiaparelli starts with him coming onto the runway and sitting down at a drafting table. He starts sketching the looks of the collection as they emerge completed onto the runway. Roseberry's skill in fashion illustration is something that will stay with his work at the house. The idea of drawing these looks to life could be a simple way just to demonstrate the process of concepting these gorgeous fashions, though could also be a nod to the art history movement that imbues the entirety of the House of Schiaparelli, and that is Surrealism. We're gonna take just a moment here to talk about Surrealism. It is crucially important to the entire history of the Maison of Schiaparelli. Surrealism as a movement was concepted in the 1920s by the writer and philosopher André Breton. The predominant art movement at the time was Dadaism, which was mostly a reaction to the horrors of World War I. The art and the poetry and the performance art produced by Dada artists is known for its satire and the biting commentary on the foolishness of war, as well as very nonsensical, almost absurdist elements. To Breton, Surrealism represented, quote, pure psychic automatism, end quote. If it could be said that Surrealism or any art movement has goals, then what he says is that it seeks to, quote, resolve the previously contradictory conditions of dream and reality into an absolute reality, a super reality, end quote. Surrealism and the Surrealists who adopted it were focused on elements of surprise, unexpected juxtapositions, and non sequitur. The artists who adopted Surrealism tried to express the unconscious mind. Many times they did this by engaging in automatism, which is the process of drawing freely just whatever comes to mind, removing the conscious control over your creative process. This inspired many of the Surrealist artists that we all think of as household names of art history today, like Magritte and Miro and Klee and the original Whoa Bro, Salvador Dali. Elsa Schiaparelli was really taken with the Surrealist movement and engaged in the second wave of Surrealism by creating artifacts of Surrealist experimentation. Elements of Elsa's Surrealist experimentation have made their way to Roseberry's inspiration for his first collection. This trompe-l'oeil printed ruffled ribbon trim on looks 3 and look 16, these are definitely an ode to Elsa Schiaparelli's first breakout design in 1927. Schiaparelli herself created this design, which is just a trompe-l'oeil bow on a pullover sweater. I realize that this is not a big deal to us now because we have printed t-shirts and kind of printed everything. This was a huge deal. This made quite a ruckus in 1927. This style was worn by many athletes and sports champions of the era and was even picked up by American publications. She made many variations on this style going forward. Roseberry is nodding heavily towards the heritage of the Schiaparelli house with this collection and with all of his other collections, but he's made a distinct point in interviews to say that he did not want these to be nostalgic collections. So we see a really good balance here. We're making distinct references to the history of the house. We're not totally flipping everything over and reinventing it, but he is taking that past and moving forward with it. Roseberry said that he is focused on the surrealist concept of displacement for this show. Displacement of the object, removing it from its expected context, defamiliarizing it. This is seen in the show in looks 19 and 20 and in the use of a bustier, but rather than covering the upper torso, it is used where a peplum is meant to be used, recontextualizing the cinching of a woman's body and where it occurs. Another way this use of displacement occurs is in the use of animalia and nature, where a snake is wrapped around the neck as a necklace in look 9, and a lizard is a statement earring in look 7. Most importantly, ladybugs engulfing the bust in look 25. Yeah, I can't do it anymore. Gotta take the jacket off. It is July. The ladybugs are also brought into the nails of the models. And if y'all thought that acrylic nails were a new thing, you are wrong. Elsa Schiaparelli loved acrylic nails, as we can see in these gloves with nails from 1936. Here in this show, we see acrylic nails in look 11, which are adorned with crystal mesh tassels. Crystal mesh. I said crystal mesh. But then, Roseberry displaces these nails and tassels into look 12 as earrings, a hat, and as a repeating motif covering a blazer. Great use of the displacement concept. Let's move on. Okay, so this is incredible. To play with the idea of displacement, as well as alluding to Elsa's early adoption of plastics and zippers and rough textured materials, Roseberry creates a whole gown in look 18 that is made of Velcro, pairing the matching attachable embroidered florals that the client can place as desired. The body of this dress itself is made of the soft side of Velcro, the loop side, and the flowers are backed with the hook side, the rough textured part. Absolutely incredible. Here in this show, we see orange drapery in look 4, and we will also see that later repeated in the most recent Haute Couture collection. This drapery is a reimagining of Elsa's aerodynamic line of dresses from 1933. We also see the start of Daniel Roseberry playing with these big cloud-like shapes, a continuing motif for the rest of his work at the house. According to Roseberry, these Dreamtime dresses in the last part of the collection are focused on a pure emotional release. Dresses that resembled rising clouds of pink or white silk file, as if the model woke up in a Freudian dreamscape. Freud, by the way, all of his work on the unconscious had a huge impact on the Surrealist movement. Elsa Schiaparelli loved to use this specific type of pink that she referred to as shocking pink. This whole tone of pink is a huge part of the Scap lore. According to Roseberry, the exact opposite side of the color wheel from shocking pink is this chartreuse color that we see here in look 17. Also in this look and a few other looks throughout the show, we see a conical shaped hat that's historically known as a henin. Okay, hang tight.
Henin.
These hats are known historically as a
Henin.
While the
Henin.
were worn in the Middle Ages and used as a symbol of nobility, there may be a surrealist interpretation here as well, considering that they are in fact meant to be worn on the head. It's placing a royal-like emphasis on the importance of the brain, from where all surrealist ideas stem. Does that sound far-fetched to you? Well then behold, look 17, where the base of the
Henin.
looks like a jewel-encrusted brain. It does kinda, right? These hats and many of the other hats for Daniel Schiaparelli will be made by Stephen Jones. If you're into fashion, you have seen Stephen's work in countless runway shows, too many to mention. Okay, spring, summer 2020, ready to wear. All right, so ready to wear has been a really inconsistent part of the Schiaparelli brand since they came back in 2013. In his first stab at maintaining ready to wear for the house, Roseberry decides to decorate the lookbook with these totems that are absolutely wild. Most iconically is this bird cage, which is meant to look like the bottle for Schiaparelli's legendary perfume, Shocking. The other totems are allusions to Roseberry's own childhood as well as Schiaparelli's life. The totem in look 6 is covered in costume jewelry, which is a huge part of Schiaparelli's legacy that Daniel Roseberry leans into in a really heavy way. The totem in look 8 is covered in My Little Pony dolls that the team sourced from eBay. Damn, friendship really is forever. I mean magic. Friendship is magic. It's magic. Sorry. Daniel Roseberry shared MLP dolls with his sister as a kid. This one in look 10 is made of goldfish bowls, featuring an actual goldfish, continuing the theme of displacement. The totems in looks 1 and 7 are bursting with plants and flowers. This is apparently a reference to a story that Daniel heard when he first started working at Schiaparelli, that Elsa herself used to put the seeds of plants in her ears and nose. Concerning, but cool. And it is here that the discussion of noses and ears and just small parts of the body becomes very relevant. The golden nose and lips in look 9, as well as the very creative eyewear and maybe eye jewelry, This is recontextualization of the parts of the body that we all notice but we never highlight. Eyelashes, for example, are seen extended in gold with looks 1 and 3. This here is a reinterpretation of these cellophane fringed glasses made by Elsa herself in 1951. Another bodily motif that's used as inspiration here is hair. Hair is seen as a print on this dress and this suit, and there's rainbow hair that's sewn into this look here. The totem in look 4 is literally just covered in hair dryers. I don't know, in case you haven't noticed, this is going to be a very consistent thing running here, is this camp motif. The first look in this collection is a huge surrealist reference to the Tears dress made by Schiaparelli in collaboration with Salvador Dali in 1938. The original dress is printed with illusions that look like the dress is torn, with the tears drawn as if they're hanging down, showing the inside of the dress. This is not the first time that Elsa collaborated with Salvador Dali. Together they concepted such incredible works of art as the shoe hat, the lobster dress. Fun fact, Dali asked specifically that this be shown with a bottle of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise and lobster. That's the surrealist thing right there. It's not even the lobster dress, it's the notion that you would pair lobster with mayonnaise. The bureau drawer dress and the grail, the Schiaparelli skeleton dress. We will cover this later. Finally, she and Dali also made this sweet looking telephone dial-shaped powder compact for the cosmopolitan surrealist woman on the go. Folks, the padlock. Padlocks are a significant house motif. Log that away in your brain. They are used on bags this season. In 1935, the padlock symbol first appeared in the winter haute couture collection of that year, used as the enclosure of a bag. Typically used to close luggage or to safekeep precious or private items, it sort of signified a woman being able to safeguard her own stuff and keep the things separate that she wanted to, but it also brought about a good deal of a kind of a tone of mystery. This motif is going to get used so much going forward. More use of animalia used in this collection. We see chameleons used as brooches, ladybug earrings in look 4, snake earrings in look 5, and, comparatively at least, a fairly simple looking snake necklace in look 6. A nice discreet snake necklace. Followed by a less discreet octopus headband. And, returning to subtlety, we see a suit of ants. It's an ant suit, y'all. The billowing clouds are back. I actually knocked myself over. The billowing clouds are back, baby, but they are smaller and more subdued this season. More appropriate for ready to wear. I'm in such a goofy mood today. Lastly, Schiaparelli's love for heavily textured fabrics is seen in look 2. On the totem, but most notably on the left look, where a Duchamp-esque taped pocket is used on the breast of a short sleeve button-up. The buttons on this shirt actually are crazy. So this is actually Daniel Roseberry's thumbprint. How do you get thumbprint buttons made? That's actually a motif that he borrowed from Madeleine Vianney, which is a couturier active in the 30s, and she was a contemporary of Elsa Schiaparelli. Spring-Summer 2020 Couture. Roseberry's inspiration for this collection was the double fantasy of Elsa Schiaparelli's life. He looked at images of Elsa at work in her studio dressed in her full functional daytime outfits, and then contrasted these with the unbelievably wild surrealist parties that she used to throw in the evening, initiating a discussion on performative dressing. The browns, tans, and navy colors used in this collection were inspired by the deco furniture of Jean-Michel Franck, who is a friend and collaborator of Elsa's. The jewelry is gold and very kitschy. It covers most of the clothes from suits to dresses, and actually if you look closely, you can see ear-shaped earrings. I love that. You can also see gold skeleton-shaped earrings. Skeletons, y'all. The famous skeleton dress created in collaboration with Dali in 1938 is back, reinterpreted in beaded ribs, pelvis, and leg bones. Bead me up, Scotty. I can't include that. That's not funny. The use of tape measure as a motif in the Roseberry clothes at the house draws from the bottle of the famous Shocking perfume in 1937. This will actually be seen in future collections, the use of the tape measure, so the process being brought into the final result of the clothes, and I cannot help but say that this is a Margiela reference. I don't know. Folks, padlock. It's seen beaded on this dress in look 10 and on the bottom front of the jacket in look 1. Schiaparelli's favorite flower, the iris, is seen as earrings here. Looks 25 and 34 use a tan line motif, which is also a Margiela thing. That's the last one I'm gonna say, I'll stop. So yeah, the tan line motif, which is an addition made by Roseberry's own love of the 1980s Sports Illustrated magazine. Okay, let's talk about these cloud shapes that we keep seeing. Wrapping around the model's head in an organza that may be demonstrating someone's head in the clouds in look 2, 5, 29. This voluminous cloud may be inspired by Elsa's 2 and 1 dress from 1951, where a voluminous skirt is layered on top of a more fitted skirt. This is a great example of Roseberry taking inspiration from the past Schiaparelli archives, but finding a less nostalgic and more modern approach to these heritage elements. And I know that there may be some people out there who are like, big deal, Bliss, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take the codes of the house and make them modern. I find that we have really clicked this into place with Roseberry's work. I mean, I think we can all think of creative directors that go into houses and maybe there's a thing or two that they take from the past, but really the spirit of the house is being dumbed down a good deal, and they totally replace it with their vision of what the house should be doing. This, I really think Daniel Roseberry nails this idea of take the past, but carry it with you into the future. Daniel does a great job at that. More heritage elements are seen in the backs of coats and blazers, displaying a large bursting sun. This motif was developed by Schiaparelli and Dali in 1946 for the fragrance Le Roi Soleil, which was inspired by the Sun King, Louis XIV. This is embroidered in the style of Francois Lesage, who is a famous French couture embroiderer. His atelier is now technically part of Chanel. Actually, okay, let's take a moment to talk about one of the biggest rivalries in all of fashion. Elsa Schiaparelli and Gabrielle Chanel. These two women developed an incredibly bitter, they did not like each other at all. Chanel would refer to Elsa as that Italian artist who makes clothes. Okay, so apparently, and I am quoting here from a New York Times article, quote, Chanel accidentally caught Schiaparelli on fire. The two were dancing and Chanel steered her rival, who was wearing a tree costume, into a chandelier lit with candles. The guests gleefully squirted soda water on the singed Schiaparelli to extinguish her. Their rivalry was even seen in the sides that they supported during World War II, because while Schiaparelli was training to be a nurse to help with the French army, Gabrielle Chanel was a Nazi. Which, okay, welcome to the episode within an episode called Is Chanel a Nazi? Let's find out. Okay, so there's no shortage on the internet of people vaguely referring to Chanel as a Nazi. And we've known up until very recently, we knew for sure that she dated a Nazi officer, but most historians that looked at her life were saying, she was kind of apolitical. She didn't care enough about things. She didn't keep up with modern events enough to even understand what the Nazis were doing, really. She was just like focused on her work and being in love with her boyfriend. Well, it turns out that is not true, because a few years ago, some documents were declassified by the French government that listed Chanel as not only a supporter of the Nazi Party, but an agent that worked on behalf of the Nazis to invade Spain. To quote from the Times, in late 2014, the French intelligence agencies declassified and released documents confirming Coco Chanel's role with Germany in World War II. Working as a spy, Chanel was directly involved in a plan for the Third Reich to take control of Madrid. That was part of a plan called Operation Modelhut. I don't normally do this, but if you are going to assert that Chanel was not a Nazi in the comments, I am going to need you to back that up with sources. Thank you for joining me for this episode within an episode. Let's get back to the episode. The colorful looks that finish the collection are an ode to Yves Saint Laurent and Christian Lacroix, the 80s and the 90s couture work in those bright colors, including colors like ultramarine, scarlet, viridian, and the house legacy, shocking pink. Lastly, a tooth necklace with pearls uses displacement in a very effective way. We will see teeth used much more, and Carol Christian Pole is screaming. Fall Winter 2020, ready to wear. And here we are again, starting in look 1 with the tooth necklace. I told you it would be back, and it's back so soon. It's also seen in earrings as well this season. The jewelry for Roseberry becomes a really useful vehicle for expressing the surrealist elements of the house. And it's in line with Elsa's absolute love for costume jewelry, and to be honest, this is some of the best costume jewelry that's currently available on the market. Schiaparelli is killing it with this stuff. Golden variations on glasses are back again this season, as well as decorative buttons. The eye buttons on look 2 could be a direct reference to the Magritte painting, The False Mirror, bringing the legacy of yet another staple surrealist artist to the brand, as well as the exploration of art and art history. The tape measure motif returns, this time on the covered placket of this shirt and on the waist of the pants. It's also seen as a zipper on a skeleton jacket in look 4 and on the lapels of a suit again in look 9. The skeleton motif is brought back here, more closely resembling the original in some looks. Schiaparelli made the original skeleton dress using a matte silk surface and adopted a technique called trapunto quilting. Usually this technique is used for much more like technical small work, but here she's using it to make a really big visual impact that's kind of the whole point of the garment. Here we see that technique making huge wadded bones by stuffing stuffing cotton through the stitched outline of the bones through the 2 layers of fabric, bringing the texture to the surface. It's seen on a bomber jacket here in look 4, a bodysuit in looks 3 and 27. In my opinion, it's best seen on this shocking pink colored coat, which showcases a spine at the back. Time now to return to the best side of Animalia with octopi. We see the octopus on the clothes here in look 15 and more Magritte references in the sunglasses. Look 17 is a suit printed with the various perfume bottles of the brand, including the aforementioned shocking fragrance, which is inspired by the tape measure motif. The bottle, in the shape of a woman's torso, was designed by the surrealist artist Leonore Fini and sculpted from the actress Mae West's tailoring dummy. Just stacking on the surrealist collaborations here. The cloud motif this season is smaller yet again, seen here on a dress in look 5 and as the collar of this jacket in look 25, where the whole look is covered in Roseberry's fingerprint. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of fall/winter 2020 couture. Kind of an interesting business note here. They couldn't show a collection this season. It was just drawings from Daniel. Vogue put out this statement about it. Schiaparelli could not host a presentation this season due to the coronavirus pandemic. In these extenuating circumstances, Vogue Runway has made an exception to its policy and is writing about this collection via photos, video, and remote interviews. I really wish we had actually gotten a season from this because it looked like he was going to bring back the shoe hat motif, but we didn't get anything, and this channel is mostly about clothes, so we're going to move on. Spring/Summer 2021, ready to wear. In this video presentation, we see Roseberry sketching again while bringing to life his designs. Look 1, a shocking pink suit with twisted nude bodies, maybe a reference to the famous Matisse swimming pool collage. Look 2 features a hat made by milliner Stephen Jones again. This bowler hat, very clearly a Magritte painting. Beautiful nod to surrealist art. The padlock is now a necklace, and this show introduces the most provocative displacement element so far: gold nipple earrings. We also see pins which are placed on a jacket and dress right on the chest. Nipples are also seen printed onto a shirt, another ode to Magritte's painting, The Eternally Obvious. Rings are made to be seen on the tips of fingers, replicating nails. The evening glove theme is seen in the gloves attached to a jacket sleeve, but also in the shoes, which are just incredibly cute. A gold mask covering the nose and mouth, obviously in light of the pandemic, fits into this universe so seamlessly. I really think that this use of masks and the Rick Owens use of masks, those might be my 2 favorite pandemic reference things that happened during the last year. The tape measure is seen on suits, shirts, and even bags this season. Nose-shaped earrings are also a new addition to the use of surrealist displacement. Look 15 is covered in surrealist faces embroidered in the broderie anglaise style. Surrealist faces and eyes are also seen on the bags. And the billowing clouds are back in looks 16, 26, and 27. Spring/Summer 2021 Couture. Friends, it is time to talk about the abs that divided Instagram. The molded bust is seen in look 1, wrapped with a shocking pink bow, referenced a jacket designed by Elsa in 1947. The abs, according to Roseberry, were inspired by the lifelike mannequins that Elsa kept in her salon. It's seen on a short dress and a tote in brown in look 3, and a beaded dress sporting biceps and deltoids in look 6 is seen in shocking pink. You've most likely seen this in green when Kim Kardashian wore it. Hulk smash. The padlock becomes a whole bag and earrings too. The cloud is turned into a hoodie in look 13, and a bra top, which is a great use of that displaced motif. The tape measure is now coattails, campier and campier still. The surrealist elements snake slowly out of control as the teeth motif are now joined by eggs. We also see a few variations, including this dress keyhole, which is covered in teeth. As for Animalia, we see this beaded leopard dress and large snake earrings this season. As for the nails motif, we see rings for this season that show super long fingernails that cascade down, which I think is kind of an ode to that world record-breaking woman whose fingernails are, long. The Madonna and Child breastplate, I think, is pretty clearly a reference to women who are mothers but are also very strong women. But the single most remarkable surrealist displacement as seen in this collection, and maybe ever, is the shocking pink dress held by a headband that disguises itself as earrings. Absolute magic. Fall Winter 2021, ready to wear. Breastplates are continued this season. This is probably inspired by Saint Laurent breastplates from 1969 Couture. The bust is molded out of fabric in looks 1, 9, 13, 17. It's all over this collection. But breasts are also seen as breastplates in gold for look 7. Look 4 is the front of a Canadian tuxedo facing backwards. The sunglasses in this season are absolutely wild. Looks 21 and 26 have the craziest looking glasses that also cover a large portion of the face and head. Printed abs on the coat in look 24 are nodding to last season, and the hats are just gold metal hats. The scarf itself is a gold metal sculpture that sticks up from the neck as if it's being blown by the wind. The cloud shape is back as a hoodie, but also in this hat that extends into pockets for your hands in look 34. Kind of like those fuzzy like hat and pocket combination things that you see at raves. Doves, which is a new motif here, are seen all over these looks. It was worn by Lady Gaga at the last presidential inauguration and was seen printed on a shirt in look 31 and in gold as a hat. This is possibly in reference to Picasso's Peace Dove paintings, which is a series of a few paintings inspiring hope for world peace, which is a great art reference if that is actually what it is. We also see a golden iris brooch as the perfect addition to the variations on the golden facial features motif. As we draw towards the conclusion, Fall Winter 2021, Couture. To the present with the latest show from Daniel Roseberry Schiaparelli. Matador Chic is the inspiration for this collection. You can see that in these hats here and in the rounded silhouettes of these looks. The tassels on this hat in particular in look 24 are very, very Spanish, but honestly more inspired by the Halloween-like versions of the Toreador hat rather than the traditional montera that is worn by traditional bullfighters. It's campy. The florals on this look are clearly an ode to this historic dress that features these same florals as well as embroidery featuring lovers engaged in a kiss, very Magritte-like here. The shoulders on look 2 are the same shoulders seen in Spring 2020 Couture in look 9, but in a way more voluminous shape. It evokes some of the animalia that Roseberry has come to love using, and in the context of Matadors, maybe these are displaced bullhorns? Look 11, this is insane, features a golden cast of the inside of lungs. I mean, I didn't need to tell you that, it's immediately recognizable, but holy shit, that is so incredible looking. Hung as a necklace, parallel to where the lungs would actually be on your chest. They give us abs in look 17, this time on a blazer. The earrings in this look are a cross, but feature teeth, a nipple, and a pierced nose. And ultimately, using the cross makes sense for the deeply Catholic Spanish culture that would have inspired this collection. The jewelry is also so maximalist at this point that it even creates a top, a whole top in look 15, featuring a woman's pelvis and a dove. The jeans are made so that the front features the traditional back of jeans, including the back pockets and even a leather tag. Jeans in Couture, is this the first time? I'm not sure. I think Balenciaga and Schiaparelli, those are the first jeans in Couture, I think. Hit me in the comments if there's another example of jeans in Couture, please. Look 23 is an ode to look 4 in Roseberry's first show at the house, but the top creates the shape of lips. Look 13 is inspired by Elsa's cellophane tinsel glasses, this time seen outlining this gown. In look 10, we have a silver suit, but with a belt that uses a hand as a clasp, also referencing Elsa's same design from 1934. Also, this look has a pacifier necklace. More rave culture. I love rave culture references. Beautiful. The face bag becomes even more ornate in this season, as does about everything else. The breastplate is back, this time complete with breasts. More on the Yves Saint Laurent 1969 Haute Couture breastplate. The giant flower on look 8 has a gold nipple at the center. And we can also note that the cloud wedding gown is more voluminous than ever. Folks, if you love content like this, if you want this channel to stick around, if you want to show support, join that Patreon. I really want to get you in on this community. If you really love this stuff, the support does mean a ton to me. It's how I'm able to make this happen. The channel is my full-time job, but most importantly, I want you to be able to engage with other people on the internet who are as obsessed with this stuff as you are. I know it is a lot to ask to get onto a whole new platform. Really, all you have to do is just sign up for Patreon and click support. It's patreon.com/blissfoster. Also, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter. We have a ton of fun over there. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll talk to y'all soon. Oh, wait. I do love you. I'm so sorry. I love you.